To prevent the fish eggs from being eaten by other fish, Ashitatsu Chizuri mastered a unique skill. The female and male leap out of the water simultaneously to lay fish eggs on the leaves. After the female lays eggs, the male extends its jaw and fins to stick to the leaves as long as possible to fertilize the eggs. This unusual spawning method can effectively avoid underwater predators. After spawning is complete, the female fish will leave, and the task of taking care of the hatching falls on the male fish. Fish eggs out of the river are safe, but they risk being dried out by the wind. The male fish continuously splashes water onto the leaves with its tail, persisting in this behavior until all the eggs hatch. In the deep sea at 3,000 meters, the water is icy cold, and human understanding of Mars far exceeds that of this place. But surprisingly, animals also live here. This is the pearl octopus. Reproducing under extreme conditions is a special challenge faced by the pearl octopus. In such low temperatures in the deep sea, the eggs of the pearl octopus take over 10 years to mature. Therefore, this female pearl octopus must go to a special place where approximately more than 20,000 female pearl octopuses gather to lay eggs. This place is located at a seabed crack where hot springs continuously emerge from deep within the Earth's crust. The water temperature here can remain around 10 degrees Celsius, and the relatively high temperature can accelerate the development of octopus eggs. But even so, pearl octopus eggs still take up to 2 years to hatch. Once the female pearl octopus lays her eggs, she guards them continuously, even stopping her search for food. During the incubation period, the female octopus constantly waves her arms to keep the eggs clean. She also continuously sprays water to ensure the water's oxygen is sufficient. The nearly 2-year incubation period has taken a huge toll on the female pearl octopus. At this point, the octopus eggs have matured, and the guarding task is nearing its end. The first baby octopus breaks free from the egg membrane. Immediately after, the second one, the third one. After nearly 2 years of guarding, all the female pearl octopuses here are starving and exhausted. When all the octopus eggs have hatched, their lives will soon come to an end. The pearl octopus is undoubtedly one of the most dedicated mothers in the animal kingdom. They sacrifice their lives to ensure their offspring become the largest and most developed juveniles among octopuses, giving them the best chance for survival in the harsh deep sea world. By spouting water jets, archerfish can prey on insects on trees. The water jet it sprays out is like a shooting arrow, and the insects hit will fall into the water. To shoot accurately, the archerfish needs to perform complex calculations. First, it must determine the distance of the prey from the water's surface. Then, it inhales an appropriate amount of water. At this time, the archerfish must take into account the wave fluctuations and refraction effects of the water surface. Once everything is ready, the archerfish quickly contracts its oral muscles, expelling the water to form a high-speed jet, successfully hitting the insect on the branch. However, archerfish are not born with this skill. They must constantly learn and practice to master it. Young archerfish will follow experienced ones to observe their every move during hunting. Subsequently, the young walking catfish started trying on its own. First, he needs to choose a target. Hermit crabs and crabs do not seem like good choices. Some watching wading fish gradually gather around it. Their aim is not to learn, but to snatch others' spoils. The young archerfish knocked insects off the tree multiple times, but they were all stolen by other archerfish. Unable to tolerate it any longer, it began to change its strategy. It swiftly wagged its tail, leapt out of the water, and headed straight for the insects on the branch. In this way, other fish could no longer take its prey. Another type of fish living in the ocean has learned to fish. This is the anglerfish, which has a fishing rod on its head that evolved from its dorsal fin, with bait resembling a small shrimp at the end. It lures prey by shaking the bait at the end of the fishing rod. A hunting squid is attracted by the bait on the fishing rod. The cuttlefish mistook the lure for a shrimp and slowly approached, ready to eat the lure. As a result, it became the prey. After a successful hunt, it retracts its rod and moves to a different location. The bigfin reefer fish does not swim like other fish, but walks on the seabed using its fins. The texture on its skin imitates the color and shape of coral, providing excellent camouflage while hunting. When it reaches a suitable fishing spot, it will lower its rod to lure prey. A few saltwater fish were attracted by the bait on the fishing rod. The large barnbat fish seizes the opportunity and quickly swallows it. Mudskippers can use their pectoral fins to walk on land. As long as its body stays moist, it can absorb oxygen from the air through its skin and spend most of its time out of water. To move quickly, it can also use its tail to jump. This male mudskipper is looking for a mate, but before finding one, it needs to dig a burrow for reproduction. He uses his mouth to carry out the mud and sand from the cave. The total weight of the mud and sand transported exceeds 300 times its own body weight. After the cave is built, it sets up. But predators are everywhere. The mudskipper leaps into the water, using its tail to repeatedly jump across the water surface. Each jump can reach a distance of 1 meter. Finally, he arrives at an open area where there are many female mudskippers. However, there are not only females here, but also other males coming for courtship. A duel to win Sixie's favor is inevitable. The two male mudskippers start biting each other, neither yielding. After a bout, the loser hurriedly escapes. The victor successfully caught the attention of a female. The male takes the initiative to move forward, waving the fin on one side of its body to express its intentions. The female approaches the male, touching the male's cheek, indicating she has accepted him. Subsequently, the male leads the female to the breeding burrow he built to start their own family. The underground burrow built by the mudskipper is U-shaped, with a closed chamber at the end. The female will lay eggs on the chamber walls, and the male is responsible for tending to their hatching. These eggs require a lot of oxygen during the incubation period, but the closed chamber does not allow air circulation. So, the male will swim to the entrance of the hole, take a big gulp of air, then bring the air to the chamber and release it, thus supplying the oxygen needed for the eggs to hatch. The male mudskipper has to repeat the oxygen delivery hundreds of times until all the eggs hatch.